You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome to ESPN College Football and Capital One Bowl Week with the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. And the F-16 flyover getting us set for kickoff between Army and SMU. And welcome to the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Beth Mullins along with former Buffalo Bill linebacker Ray Bentley. And Ray, both of these programs enjoying success for the first time in a long time. It's been 25 years since the Cadets have won a bowl. And for SMU, their best days since the Pony Express was running wild. And they're both doing it in very different ways.
Yeah, you have two exotic offenses here, which both rely heavily on the quarterback. We'll start with SMU, Kyle Padron. I think he's a work in progress a little bit. He has the physical tools. He's beginning to blossom, but he needs to throw the deep ball good today. I think that's going to be open for him. Now for Army, Trent Steelman is their quarterback. This guy's an unbelievable ball handler, makes great decisions in their triple option. You see him giving it to the fullback here. He also is very quick-handed with the pitch, gets it out there. And then Steelman is a big-time threat when he decides to tuck it down and run with the football, as you see here. So big game between these two. I think a lot of it comes down to the quarterbacks, Beth.
SMU will be wearing the black jerseys today. And the reason why is to honor their opponent. And, of course, black, a major color in the Army color scheme. And so the SMU Mustangs decided that they would pay tribute to the men and women serving their country as well as their opponents today for their service. Rich Ellerson in his second season at West Point, engineering this turnaround. They've talked about getting on the verge. We are where we want to be, but we don't yet have what we wanted to get at the start of the season, and that is a win in a bowl game and their first winning season in 15 years.
And it's been impressive, the turnaround that Rich Ellerson has made happen at West Point. And they do it, like I said, with that exotic triple option offense. And they also are a little different on defense. They run what's called the double eagle flex. We'll see how that matches up against the run and shoot here early on.
SMU has won the toss. They will receive. Matt Campbell handling the kickoff for Army. Kenneth Acker and Chris Butler, the deep men for the Mustangs. Through the end zone for the touchback, and SMU will start it out on their own 20-yard line. They are trying to shake off the effects of their loss in the Conference USA Championship game. A tough outing for Kyle Padron against UCF in what has been a season of highs and lows for the young quarterback.
Yeah, like I said, a work in progress. In fact, you'll see him between plays come over and talk to head coach June Jones, who also calls the plays. And Coach Jones has given him a quick tutorial between every play before he gives the next play. So that's really helped as far as the maturation process of Kyle Padron.
They really love the potential of the 6'4" sophomore from South Lake Carroll High School here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Zach Line in the backfield with him. 4 wideouts in the run and shoot for SMU, and they are going deep early. And it's caught at the 35-yard line. The long strike to Aldrich Robinson, one of their favorite targets downfield.
When I coach quarterbacks, Beth, one of the main things I tell them is never overthrow the deep ball. And here's a perfect reason why right here. You can see Robinson is looking back for the ball. Richard King is not until it's too late. And good things happen. If you overthrow it, you're never going to have any good thing happen. You're not going to let your guy make a play. Robinson made a play on the football. 45
yards on the first play of the game and a first down at the Army 35. A big key today for Army will be how they will handle the deep throws. This time it's underneath to Cole Beasley, his favorite target, with 84 catches on the year, a pickup of 6. Let's check out the impact players when SMU has the ball.
We already saw Aldrich Robinson make that long catch. This guy is a very legitimate deep threat. And then Zach Line is the fullback in this offense. You can see the yards there, 1,300 plus. He does a great job. And then for West Point, Steve Erzinger is the guy today that's going to have to play out in space against this run and shoot, and a lot of the underneath coverages. We'll keep an eye on his progress.
Padron trying to duck away from the rush. Ball is loose on the carpet. It's scooped up by Josh McNary to the 20, the 10. He's going to take it all the way for the Army touchdown. Zach Watts knocked it loose, and McNary, the Texas native, takes it to the house.
Well, what a great way to start this ball game for the Army defense. You see the pressure up top right there, and it looked like Padron lost it just trying to put it away. And then McNary gets the fortuitous bounce, and he's off to the races. Gets a little help with a late block from Steven Anderson. But Army, in order to be competitive in this game, in my opinion, has to win the turnover battle and score on defense. Check those two things off right now.
55 yards for the captain and former walk-on, Alex Carlton, with the extra point and a 7-0 lead for SMU. Let's send it down to the field now, and John Berger.
I talked to SMU head coach June Jones earlier, right before the ball game started. He told me, look, we got to get the ball downfield. We got to get it vertical. You saw an example of that to Aldrick Robinson in the first series. It's interesting. You saw the big play from Army. I talked to Josh McNary yesterday from the state of Texas. I said, Josh, what is it going to take to beat SMU with all those skill players? He said, look, we got to create some turnovers. And that's up to me and my buddies up front at the point of attack. And you saw it right there.
Thank you very much, John. A 7-0 Army lead as the defense gets the score. And let's take a look at Josh McNary, a young man who hadn't even planned on playing football in college. Army started recruiting him late in his senior year. It wasn't until the spring that they said, hey, why don't you come to West Point? And McNary scuttlebutted his previous plans to go elsewhere and said, all right, maybe I'll try and play 4 more years.
Yeah, and he has been an outstanding addition to the Black Knights. Their leader in career tackles for loss and career sacks with 27.5. He's their big play guy on defense, and he proved it in that first series.
Campbell's kickoff, fielded by Kenneth Acker inside his 5. Following a couple blockers to the 29-yard line. Return of 27 on the kick. Erzinger had the tackle. As Padron is set to head back out, let's take a look at our Bell helicopter keys to victory.
Well, hit the long ball, and they already did that on that first play. Padron hit Robinson on it. They also have to stop the dive. That's the key to stopping an option offense. Make them get to the perimeter and then get up to speed. When you go against an option offense scout team in preparation, it's never as fast as what you're going to see on the field. When they do get on defense, they're going to have to adjust to the speed of the Army option as quickly as possible.
Padron, they give to Zach Lyon, the leading rusher in Conference USA this year, and he barely is able to pull his way back to the line of scrimmage. Jarrett Mackey, the 6'2 sophomore from Snellville, Georgia, on the stop, along with Donovan Travis coming up from the secondary.
June Jones has run the football more this year than you would expect out of a run and shoot type offense, and part of the reason is because Zach Lyon has done such an outstanding job, and also, you know, trying to grow his quarterback Kyle Padron. Being able to run the ball takes a little bit of pressure off of him.
Couple wides to the near side. In this run and shoot offense, they'll often keep the receivers on the same side of the field from play to play as Line picks up 3. Let's take a look at our Bell helicopter keys to victory now for the West Pointers.
And the big thing they have to do is stop the long ball. You know, that's what SMU is going to try to do. So they got to keep it in front of them, win the turnover battle, which they just did in that first drive, coming up with points, and then get pressure on Kyle Padron. Don't let him sit back there and get comfortable. In fact, when we talk to the cadets, that's the thing that all of them emphasize, getting pressure, getting hits on the quarterback.
Padron on 3rd down. Incomplete, intended for Keenan Holman. Antoine Aaron, a Dallas native, on the coverage. And the punt unit out there for SMU, they have been a very slow starting team this year. They haven't fared all that well in first quarters. In fact, they barely touched the ball in the Conference USA Championship game in the first quarter.
Give the Army defense credit. Not only did they force a turnover and score themselves on the first series, second one's a 3-and-out. Fake punt.
Zemanski's going to keep it, and he will pick up the first down and more into Army territory. Out at the 40-yard line with a flag down at midfield.
Boy, and they caught West Point totally off guard in this one. There is nobody spying on the kicker. Nobody keeps contained on the outside.
32 yards on the fake.
And I'm not sure if this is something Szymanski just decided to do because he saw what happened as far as the cadets releasing. But look on the left side. As they release, there's nobody that stays home to take that away. That might have just been the punter being heads up and being aware of that. And when he sees it, he goes.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
I believe that's going to be Taylor Reed right at the tail end of the play. But SMU will keep possession, and Matt Szymanski, who had been nursing a groin injury after the Conference USA Championship game, looked fine on that run. He will handle both the punting and the kicking duties today. Highlight of his season right there.
I think when you have 3 weeks to prepare, as they did in this situation, you can find little things like that and take advantage of them. And give June Jones and his staff credit. They definitely pulled a rabbit out of the hat on that one.
Zach Line offset in the backfield. Padron scrambling out of the pocket. He's got a man wide open inside the 40, and the catch is made by Darius Johnson, the sophomore out of Missouri City, Texas. 23-yard gain and a first down.
This is a nice job of Padron and Johnson being on the same page. Padron's going to escape and break, contain, and then once Johnson sees it, he comes back to his quarterback exactly how you're supposed to in a scramble drill. And Padron hit him. Nice job of getting the foot down by Johnson.
One of 3 receivers with over 60 catches in the run and shoot offense. And a whistle at the snap. I think Army may have called a timeout before the play.
Previous play has been challenged by Army.
They're going to challenge that last catch along the sideline. A 7-0 lead for Army here in the first quarter. Welcome back to the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl here at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. Army with the defensive touchdown and a 7-0 lead, and after a fake punt and a first down for SMU, they're on the move. Padron, the draw to Zach Line, inside the 30, the cutback to the 24. Pickup of 12 on the play, down to John Berger.
Beth, on that last play, Army safety Donovan Travis was pleading his case. He was involved in the play. He thought the SMU player came out of bounds with the catch, and he walked over to the sideline and was pleading with his coaches, please take a timeout and challenge this thing. He won out on that case. Nevertheless, was calling the field stands, and it's SMU ball.
Whoops. Yeah. You know what? When you make that case to the coach, you kind of want to be right, because he won't trust you the next time.
Little extra KP, I think, when they get back to West Point. As the challenge did not work for Army. Padron again under intense heat. Able to scramble back near the line of scrimmage. Mike Gann, the senior from Roswell, Georgia, was leading the charge. A couple yards on the pickup. Gann, the two-year starter who's overcome a knee injury. His dad, Mike, played in the NFL after a college career with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Great coverage down the field on that last play, and that's where Army has been susceptible a little bit. Question marks in the secondary. They covered it up real nice on that last play.
2nd and 8. Line again on the delay. Ducks inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Marcus Hilton, the senior from the Bronx, trying to put some pressure on. A pickup of 4. 3rd and short coming up as McNary heads off to the sideline. His 55-yard fumble recovery and return for a touchdown. The difference on the scoreboard here today. And our first of 4 bowl games coming your way on the ESPN family of networks today. 9th play of the drive here for SMU. Padron across the middle, dropped at the 6-yard line. And what would have been a first down, Cole Beasley unable to hang on.
Beasley is usually very sure-handed as a receiver. Leads this team with 84 catches. Just a little slant route with the pressure, the blitz coming. Delivered perfectly on time by Padron. And Beasley, he's going to have to explain something to his quarterback, who also took a shot after he let that ball go.
35-yard attempt from Zemansky. Missed it.
It is windy out there, and I don't know that it affected it that much, but definitely a missed opportunity by SMU.
A 10-play drive, but they come up with nothing. A 7-0 Army lead. And the Cadets will take back over at their own 20-yard line.
We get to see some option football.
How about that? Our first look at the Army offense. And Trent Steelman, the 6-foot sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, started every game of his 2-year career. Triple option. And how about that? They're going to throw on their first play, and it's dropped by Austin Barr.
Start out with a little 3-step drop, little hitch route out there, and Barr's got to get that one. I mean, Army doesn't throw the football that much, and when they do, they need to take advantage of it. Pretty good throw on the 3-step by Steelman. Hit his man Barr right in the hands. He just couldn't grab it.
Cadets are at 6-6 coming in their first bowl game in 15 years. And it's Patrick Mealy getting to the outside. He's got the edge, the first down across the 40. 22 yards.
The Army's going to pull 2. Watch the bottom, the offensive lineman right there, and the big one is Mersey, who finishes the block off on Fleps, who ends up finally getting close to the tackle, but nice misdirection there. And SMU definitely a step behind on that one.
the senior out of DeMatha High School in Hyattsville, Maryland. Another one of the Army captains. Up the gut to their fullback, Jared Hassan. Taylor Reed, the leading tackler for SMU on the season, makes the stop.
Hassan's a good story. You know, his father is a West Point graduate, his sister as well, and he ended up starting out at Air Force and then realized that wasn't for him, took a year off, came back, and now he's where he was supposed to be with the Army.
65 yards away from a 1,000-yard rushing season, and the pass caught by David Brooks. First-year starter picks up 8 yards. Richard Crawford with the coverage. Another Army first down. So a couple airstrikes already here.
Yeah, excuse me, Beth, but I think Brooks is their top receiver. He's the biggest threat. Little misdirection, bootleg, crossing route, real easy to throw, wide open. The Army offense looking pretty good here early on.
Another get to Hassan. Burrows his way inside the 40, a pickup of 6. The Army rushing attack last year, 203 yards a game, 13 touchdowns. This year, 256 yards a game and 33 touchdowns, and his addition a big reason why.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you run the triple option, you have to have a stud in that fullback position, and that's exactly what Jared Hassan has been.
Brown in motion, back to his original spot on second down. Steelman looking to throw again, incomplete. And a flag coming in late on the coverage from Chris Banjo.
Banjo never got his head turned around, I think is going to be his issue as far as why he got this penalty. Mealy just running a wheel route out of the backfield.
Defense number 23. First down, spot of the foul.
So right at the end there, he got the hand on Mealy before the ball got there and never turned his head back around until it was too late.
And that will move Army further downfield. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Their defense has already scored, and now the offense on the move. Trying to get to the edge again, inside the 20-yard line. Brian Cobbs, the sophomore out of St. Charles, Missouri.
Nice little jet sweep type play, and again, Army does a nice job of blocking this thing. You see the tackle there, Mersey pulling again and then trying to cut block down the field. That's what Army does on the perimeter. They'll throw down at your legs. That becomes kind of maddening to a defender after a while.
And up the middle to Mealy on the play. SMU, by the way, has seen the triple option this year. They lost to Navy and gave up 253 yards on the ground, but it was close right to the finish. In particular, Ray, they really struggled with the pitch and defending the edge.
And that's where you want the option to end up. You want to take away the fullback first and really try to force a quick pitch. Turns it into basically a toss sweep, which most defenses will tell you they can stop.
There's the pitch. Terrific block from Mersey to spring him into the end zone. And the touchdown from Malcolm Brown.
Brown on the carry.
13 yards, getting the corner. And Army off to the quick start.
This is just great operation by the quarterback, Steelman. You see him get the pitch out, perfect timing, and then the blocking down the field. Austin Barr did a great job finishing off at the end there to create enough room for the touchdown for Brown.
Alex Carlton, the junior from Wilmington, Delaware, and it's blocked. SMU has been very good at blocking kicks this year, and 6'8" Marcus Hunt from Estonia. Only been playing football a couple years, but he can get up. Still 13-zip Army as Brown takes it to town. there's a familiar face looking on.
Lieutenant Dan.
Actor Gary Sinise. He's here with the Lieutenant Dan Band. They're going to be performing after the bowl game. He is a big proponent and fundraiser for the troops.
He's got magic legs.
John Berger will be chatting with him momentarily as Army gets set to kick off here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. It's been all military so far. A touchdown for the offense and for the defense. Backer again after the bobble. Gets back out to the 20 after the 17-yard return. Let's check in with John Berger and his guest.
Yeah, I'm here with Gary Sinise. Gary, talk to me a little bit about being the national spokesman for American Veterans Disabled for Life. Tell us about this organization.
The American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation is building a national memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor all our disabled veterans. We have over 3 million living disabled veterans right now. There's nothing that has ever paid tribute to the sacrifices of these men and women who have, lost a lot in service to our country. So we're building a national memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor them. And you can go to the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial Foundation website to find out more about it.
Now, I'm holding a ticket for the Lieutenant Dan band after the game here. What are we going to see?
Well, I have a band.
The carry for SMU.
It's named after the character I played in Forrest Gump, because whenever I go out and visit the troops, and I do that a lot, they're always calling me Lieutenant Dan. So when I started taking musicians with me on these various USO tours and military tours, I just decided to call it the Lieutenant Dan Band, and we go all over the world, and we've played on bases, many bases overseas and here in this country to just show our support and to give the troops and their families a good time.
Now, I had heard you'd raised over $1 million in one night in conjunction with Golden Corral. Is that true?
Well, Golden Corral Restaurants does a wonderful thing every year called Military Appreciation Monday, right around Veterans Day, and they serve anybody who served in the military. A veteran can go to Golden Corral and eat for free that day and make donations. So they raised about over $1 million this year for the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Great organization.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. 32 yards on the catch. Darius Johnson hauling it in. SMU had a 10-play drive earlier in the game, but the missed field goal at the tail end of that, not allowing them to put any points on the board, but Kyle Padron trying to get them rolling again here. The sophomore quarterback from nearby Southlake, Texas. They've been in this position before. They have been a slow-starting team this year. And the ball pops loose again. They've already lost one fumble that Army returned for a touchdown. An Army player has come out of the pack with it. Defensive back Jordan Trimble has possession. Will that be 9/10 of the law?
Yeah. Well, Aldrich Robinson is going to spit this one up. Here he is at the top of the screen. You see a little comeback route. Going to run a quick screen out there. He doesn't put the ball away very good, and it gets knocked out by Christopher Swain.
SMU possession, second down.
All right. SMU fortunate on that one, because usually when a guy comes out of the pile with the ball, it's his team's ball. Here's another look at it. Right there, Swain knocks it out. And you must have had right there an immediate recovery. It looked like Darius Johnson got on top of that thing. And Tremble ended up taking it away from him, but not before they ruled it down. Fortunate for Robinson and SMU.
Robinson goes out wide to the left. He's got a touchdown catch in 7 consecutive games coming in. 2nd and 6. More struggles with the football for SMU. Zach Watts, the sophomore from Pittsburgh, able to wrap up Padron.
That's the second time we've seen Padron have to struggle for the snap. The snap's coming up high from his center, Blake McJunkin, and that one, very fortunate, didn't go over his head and go past him.
He saw line. I think he was going to be part of that play until he saw the ball being batted up in the air.
Anderson trying to blitz up the middle. They get it. Padron with some running room. And a first down. Dive into the 22-yard line. Picking up 8. Tackled by Donovan Travis.
Great recognition by Padron. He sees man-to-man coverage in the secondary. So he knows as soon as he scrambles past the first wave of cadets, he's pretty much out in open field. And he brings it down and picks himself up a touchdown on the year. He's run for 4 touchdowns and 254 yards, so he does give you a little something with his legs.
He's thrown 29 touchdown passes this year, the 9th best total in FBS play. He's also run for 4 scores. Intercepted at the 15-yard line by Anderson. The senior from Maryland with his 2nd pick of the year. And it's now 2-0 Army in the turnover battle.
One of the things that Kyle Padron does is stare down where he's throwing. You see right from the snap, the whole time he is looking at that slant route. All Steven Anderson has to do is read his eyes, which we saw him do. Break in front, make a play, and the Cadets in business with a 13-0 lead.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Bell Helicopter, proud to serve those who serve. Expedia, the best travel tools are all in one place. Where you book matters. Expedia. And Discover, it pays to discover, official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
The pregame landing of the Cobra, and right there the Huey here at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, an Army with an offensive touchdown and a defensive score. A 13-0 lead over SMU after the Mustangs blocked an extra point.
I love a woman who knows her military hardware.
We got a lot of military hardware to talk about today. A terrific day. One of the reasons why SMU is wearing the black jerseys today. That's to honor all the men and women in the military as well as their opponents on the other side of the field today. wanted to honor the men and women at West Point, as well as those serving overseas around the country. Of course, a heavy military presence in the great state of Texas. Some of the cadets making their way to the game today. A lot of room up the middle for Jared Hassan. 12 yards and a first down for Army. Their scoring drive covered 8 plays and 80 yards on their first offensive possession.
Just a quick trap here, and they caught Marcus Hunt rushing upfield. Made a nice, easy little block there, and the Army offensive line doing a nice job here early on.
Hassan getting close to a 1,000-yard season. He would be just the second sophomore to do that. Have to go back to Mike Mayweather back in 1988. The last sophomore to rush for over 1,000. You talked about him starting out at the Air Force Academy, then left there, had to sit out, took some time off to go to junior college, spent his free time coaching at his old high school, football, wrestling, and the track team. Hadn't picked up a ball since 2007 before he arrived in the fall.
Right, and also told us he has never played with his hand in the ground. And you see that fullback, he's got a nice little three-point stance there with a lot of forward lean so he can take the ball.
The pitch stuffed. Back inside the 40-yard line, Chris Banjo, their big leader on the defensive unit with the pop. Loss of 6.
Great read by Banjo. He's got quarterback to pitch is kind of his look, and it was a quick pitch forced by the penetration, and he just lit it right up.
End of the first quarter here at the Armed Forces Bowl, and a 13-0 Army lead.
This January, ESPN is your new home for the Bowl Championship Series.
The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. And that placard indeed says it all. Honoring all the men and women of the military here today. Heard from Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band earlier. A lot of the cadets amongst the standing room only crowd. And Army with the ball in a 13-point lead as we start the second quarter, and Steelman on the run. Pushed out right near the marker, and he's got the yardage, 14 on the pickup. Let's take a look at our Dodge Ram Trucks drive recap.
Previous drive for the Cadets, little counter play where Patrick Mealy gets a nice chunk of yardage. Then they get down to the goal line. It's the pitch on the option to Malcolm Brown. The Army offense gets on the board to go along with their defense. The extra point block that got us to this 13-0 tally at this point.
The first score, Josh McNary scooping up the fumble and rumbling 55 yards with it. Something we don't usually see is an opponent, in this case SMU, that actually has more time of possession through the first quarter of play, because the defense came up big for Army. They really only had the 2 possessions.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that third down where Steelman scrambled for the first down on the cutback. That's what he does so well. He's got great vision and he's got excellent acceleration. You basically have to cover the whole field when you're going against him, or he'll find that open spot.
They call him their point guard at quarterback. As he was pushed forward to Jared Hassan. Close to the marker once again.
Hassan did a nice job getting yards after contact in there. That's what you want your fullback in the option game to do, is he does get the first down. And Hassan kind of built his reputation on the scout team in his first workings with the Army football team, and they went to coach, said, hey, we got a good one coming up here, coach, you're going to like this kid, and they like him a lot.
6 carries for 37 yards here in the first half. Beth Mowens, Ray Bentley, John Berger. As Army seeks its first bowl victory in 25 years. SMU looking for back-to-back bowl wins for the first time since the 1940s. And Saturday, a triple header coming your way on the ESPN family of networks. Florida, Penn State at 1 o'clock on ABC in the Outback Bowl. Alabama, Michigan State at 1 o'clock on ESPN in the Capital One Bowl. And then the Progressive Gator Bowl, Mississippi State, Michigan on ESPN2 at 1:30, rounding out a big day of the SEC versus the Big Ten. Couple of fakes, and then the third guy gets the ball in a triple option, Patrick Mealy. Taylor Reed, though, didn't allow him to get very far.
Taylor Reed does an outstanding job of diagnosing this thing. That's the third time Army's run this play. You see Reed, he's the top side inside linebacker there, dodges the low cut block. He's seen this thing a few times. He's able to get up in there and slam it and get himself excited.
This 3-4 defense, SMU likes those front three to plug up the holes and allow their linebackers to make the plays. 3rd and 8 on this 10th play of the drive.
That would be spying Steelman in this situation.
Pitch to Mealy, nowhere to go. Pete Fleps, the senior from South Lake, Texas, their second leading tackler on the year, makes the hit.
Fleps is a senior leader on this defense. Second leading tackler, flies around pretty good and made a nice open field hit on that one. And a big stop for this SMU defense. I think they're starting to finally get tuned in to the speed of the Army offense and then the way things are rolling as far as the option and the different counter plays. They're drawing a bead on it right now.
A handful of block kicks, block punts this year for SMU. They blocked an extra point earlier today.
He's only 12 yards back from the snap. If they come after him, which I think they will at some point, it's going to give him a chance.
Oh, terrific punt from Jonathan Bowles as the senior from Fairfax, Virginia, keeps it in play. Just 32 yards, but more importantly, 2 yards away from the SMU goal line.
Hi everyone, my name is Staff Sergeant Jennifer Brofer. I'm currently deployed to Afghanistan. I want to say hi to my friends and family back in Arlington, Texas. I miss you guys and I love you, and I hope everyone has a great time at the Armed Forces Bowl game.
A day for celebrating the services provided by the United States military here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Army with an offensive and a defensive touchdown and a 13-0 lead over SMU. The Mustangs have moved the ball. They've got 156 yards of offense, but the 2 turnovers have ended their drives deep into Army territory. Padron all day to throw, has a man wide open across the middle and out to the 39-yard line, Darius Johnson. Trimble on the tackle, 3rd catch for number 3 today.
And you called it, Beth. He had all day to throw the football. And when you get this kind of time, somebody's going to come open. You see Padron, he's looking. Finally, I think this was his 3rd option. Comes back, finds Johnson in the seam, wide open. And the more time he has to throw, the tougher it's going to be on that back 7 of the Army defense.
3rd catch for Johnson, all of them over 20 yards today. First and 10 for Kyle Padron. Off the fake, going to keep it, and is wrapped up by Jarrett Mackey behind the line of scrimmage.
Take a look at this SMU drive chart, and you see the first one, the fumble, which Army scored on. Then they drove it down the field pretty nicely. 10-play drive, ended up missing the field goal. The last one, the interception thrown by Padron when he just stared down the barrel at his receiver. Steve Johnson picked it off, and now here they are in their 4th drive of the game, trying to get points. They're a slow-starting football team, but I think now's time. If not now, when?
Only 4 senior starters on this Mustang team. Again, throwing deep, and another interception. Padron has a tendency to overthrow, and he did it right there. And Josh Jackson makes him pay. 3rd turnover for Army.
Really poor decision decision by Kyle Padron to try and force that thing into Darius Johnson. He had Beasley breaking across the middle, and if he had just waited a little bit and let that clear, he would have had a big play. You see Beasley down at the bottom, breaking over the middle, nobody there. Instead, Padron throws it into traffic, and a big interception by Josh Jackson.
And the coaching continues the teaching over there on the sideline from June Jones.
Not a pleasant lesson being learned right now.
Army running the triple option. They don't cough the ball up very much, so they have a big advantage on the season in turnovers, and they are adding to it today.
Let's look at some of those turnovers. Here early on, you've got the forced fumble there. And then the pickup by McNary for the touchdown, then the Steve Johnson interception, and then the most recent one there by Jackson. And that one, a clear case of Padron forcing the football in, and Coach Ellerson's boys are ball hawks today.
They are now plus 16 on the season in the turnover department. We're going to run a little reverse to David Brooks. Steelman makes a nice block, but still good penetration that time, and the pressure coming from SMU. Chris Banjo, and a 6-yard loss on the stop.
Fleps as well. Kind of diagnose this thing. It's really a slow developing reverse, and that gives guys with some lateral quickness an opportunity to make a play. A nice little crack there of the pads on that one. Kind of get some excitement going. Big hit there.
Flag also, SMU's players pointing at Army. And instead they're going to pick up the flag.
Chris Banjo just tuned him up.
I think they're looking at this block that was made by
the quarterback, Steelman. Good block low on Marcus Hunt. Marcus Hunt's 6'8". I don't know if you can block high on him.
Officials still talking things over. This is a whack officiating crew.
Please set the clock at 8:42. 8:42. Thank you.
Our referee Claire Gaussman in his 13th bowl game.
Here's the hit we were talking about right there. You see Steelman chopping the legs out from Hunt, and Army does a lot of that low chop blocking, cut blocking, and that can get a defense angry. I can tell you from personal experience.
3rd and 16, incomplete. Intended for Austin Barr.
Incomplete.
Not quite on the same page. Steelman thought Barr was going to come back a little bit more to the outside on that little whip type route that he ran. He was wide open, but they weren't able to connect. And watch on this punt, the Army special teams, their kicker is only about 12 yards from where the snapper is. This is dangerous to me. You can get a punt block very easily. Most guys are at 14. Army goes to 12.
Crawford gonna play it, ducks under a tackler and out across the 20-yard line.
Richard Crawford on the return for SMU.
SMU's offense, which has turned it over 3 times, will head back out there down a couple scores.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram, the Capital One Venture Card, what's in your wallet, and Madden NFL 11, available now. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Plenty to see over at the Armed Forces Adventure area. And coming up post-game, a concert with actor Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band. Coming up at halftime, they will actually have an induction ceremony for 25 recruits from each branch of the service, which will be inducted and called to duty. Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Beth Bowens, former Buffalo Bill linebacker Ray Bentley, and John Berger. 3 turnovers for this SMU offense. Yeah, the give to Zach Line picks up a couple.
Zach Watts on the stop for Army.
Wrapped up by Zach Watts. The scoring in the first quarter for the Cadets, Josh McNary, a 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and they followed that up on their first offensive possession, an 8-play, 80-yard drive capped by Malcolm Brown's 13-yard touchdown run. An extra point was blocked. It's the run and shoot against the triple option here today, and so far the option on top. Anderson again trying to blitz up the middle. He's covered. And the pass completion out to the 40-yard line to Eldrick Robinson, but a flag down in the backfield.
Usually that means holding on the offensive line. They're going to bring this thing back.
Holding offense number 64. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Penalty on Bryce Tennyson.
I believe, Ray, that's how they contained the Anderson blitz up the middle.
Yeah, and Padron did a really good job of avoiding this pressure. You see the left guard, 64, right there. He's got an Army defender pretty much in a bear hug and then tossed him down to the ground. And it's too bad because Padron showed a little something on that play, avoided the rush, stepped up, and zipped an inside route to Robinson. Very nice play, but you can't be holding people.
Capital One Bowl Week continuing later tonight with a doubleheader for you at 6:40 Eastern. On ESPN, it's North Carolina and Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Then at 10 Eastern, a rematch from the regular season, the only one in the bowls this year. Nebraska handled Washington handily in the regular season. They'll meet again at the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. And I believe the latest word was that Taylor Martinez will be able to go for Nebraska against Washington, and Jake Locker, projected first-round pick at quarterback for the Huskies. Second and long, 3 penalties for 35 yards now on SMU. Shovel pass to Zach Line, and Steven Anderson sniffed that one out.
Anderson's very impressive as a middle linebacker. We've already seen him intercept a pass, and now he has the discipline to stay home on the screen. And it's one of those little flip forward screens. Anderson sees it the whole way, and watch him kind of come back behind the wave of blockers and make a nice stick. And he's just 5'10", 222, but I'll tell you, the kid has a great nose for the football.
One of those undersized guys that beat you with his instincts and his passion. 3rd and forever for SMU. Padron again with time. Tipped. Still in the air and finally falls incomplete. A couple of Army guys had a crack at it.
Oh, and it looked to me like Keenan Holman should have caught this ball. You see him just turning in. Not a lot of discipline at the end of his route. When you do that little turn inside, you want to gather yourself to be able to react to whichever direction the football's thrown, and he kind of drifted through the end of the route and ended up overshooting the ball. I blame that on him more than Padron.
Zemansky from his goal line, and Josh Jackson with the fair catch at his own 49-yard line, a 40-yard punt. Army with the lead and the ball when we come back. Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, and a 13-0 lead for Army under second-year head coach Rich Ellerson. He's very familiar with the guy across the way, third-year SMU coach June Jones. As the two of them go back to their playing days together at the University of Hawaii.
Ellerson was Jones' center for a while. You don't get much more intimate than that.
They both got their coaching start from legendary coach Dick Tomey. They're now on opposite sides in bowl game as they both try and resurrect these once proud programs.
Push at the end there. And there's Coach Ellerson back in the day, playing center out on the island. And there he is as an assistant coach. Did coach on the same staff with June Jones out there. These guys have had a great relationship throughout the course of both of their careers, from back when they players through assistant coaches and now as head coaches.
Steelman on the keep, looking for the first down, appears to have the yardage. Taylor Reed on the tackle.
It's the first time Steelman has kept the ball today. And you know, it's interesting, June Jones, he really has a great respect not only for Coach Ellerson but the service academies at Hawaii. He always made sure he scheduled, you know, one of the service academies, and continues to do so with SMU, playing Navy each year. And he just feels like, you know, it's a good thing to give back in that regard and get those guys out on the field and go against them.
Pass into the 36-yard line. Well, it's interesting, too, after their start together as players at Hawaii, the divergent philosophies that they have followed to get to the same place. You call them exotic offenses that are effective when you don't necessarily have the talent of the opponent, and you've got to figure out a different way to beat them.
Yeah, both of these offenses help turn your program around quicker and take advantage of lesser talent because of the scheme. These are schemes that you don't see week in and week out, so when you do play them, it's tough to prepare.
June Jones went from 1-11 to 8-5 last season, and the ball pops loose. Army able to dive back on it after Taylor Reed crushed Steelman.
Boy, Reed is blitzing on this one. He shoots through uncontested. Watch him play side middle linebacker, steps underneath that block, gets his arms around Steelman, knocks the thing out. This kid's been pretty impressive. Taylor Reed, leading tackler on this team, and I don't think Steelman ever saw him, didn't expect that kind of penetration coming up from the inside.
Brian Cobbs was able to dive on the loose ball. 3rd and 4. They got it. Patrick Mealy, the senior.
This is a tough play to defend. It's just a double dive, basically. So you got one-on-one blocking on the backside, and you got all the action going the other way. It's very difficult. It's a split key read from the linebacker position. I can tell you from experience, very few of us could handle that read.
That's how tough it is to see it.
Very few of us.
Good penetration in the backfield to stuff Hassan. Marquise Frazier, an nose guard, able to barrel through there.
Frazier was impressive on tape in preparation for this game as far as his get off. He can get off the ball quick and make penetration just like you saw on that last play, and he can blow things up before they even start.
All Conference USA performer for the Mustangs. Steelman on the rollout, and the pass incomplete. David Brooks. Look, he didn't have his footwork right there on the jump. Taylor Thompson was bringing the pressure for SMU.
Little counter bootleg play, and I tell you, Brooks was open coming across, but the pressure off the edge forced Steelman to throw that thing just a little bit high and behind. Puts the Army in a situation they don't usually get themselves in and don't like to be in, a 3rd and 10+.
Steelman just 1 of 4 throwing the ball today. 3rd and 11. direct traffic, but he's going to have to tuck and run. Bounced out of bounds by Justin Smart, the outside linebacker.
I tell you, if you don't have a passing game, which the Army really doesn't. I mean, they run some three-step and some rollout and some bootleg, but when you're 3rd and long, you need a 5-step passing game, and they really don't have that.
44-yarder for Alex Carlton. He has made 10 in a row over the last 6 games. And he's got it.
And another one.
Army pitching the shutout here in the first half on SMU.
Yeah, I'm here with John Allen, Eric Rosen. Bell Helicopter, Cobra Helicopter comes in at 8 o'clock this morning. I got to tell you guys, I feel very safe standing next to you right here. Tell me a little bit about this piece of hardware.
It's a AH-1 Whiskey Cobra made by Bell Helicopter. Cruises about 150 knots, and we use it for close air support for the Marines on the ground.
What usually happens when the enemy sees one of these coming over the horizon?
They're usually hiding.
Tell me a little bit about the Huey helicopter as well.
That girl over there, she's a little older, but she's going to get replaced pretty soon. She only goes about 130 knots, but she's got a lot more versatility. She can shoot, but she's help. But the big thing is it's there for the Marine on the ground. That's what our mission is.
I appreciate your time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, John. Here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl.
Guys seem very affectionate towards their helicopter.
They do. I would imagine you spend enough time in those kind of situations with the birds. After the short kick, SMU will take over at their own 44-yard line. Let's check in right now with Wendy Nix in the studio.
Aaron Davis on the return for SMU. First down and 10.
That's all coming up at the half. Beth Bowens, Ray Bentley, John Berger here in Dallas-Fort Worth. A fumble return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and the field goal for the Cadets in a 16-0 lead SMU has been able to move the ball pretty well, but a missed field goal and 3 turnovers have stymied any efforts to put points up.
I got to give a lot of credit to the West Point defense right now. They're playing extremely well. They're taking away the deep ball. That's what Padron wanted on that last one. It was not there.
Out into the flat, Johnson. 5th catch of the day for Darius. First down SMU as they move to the Army 42-yard line. As we approach 2 minutes to go now in the first half. Pickup of 13.
You're right. Johnson has been the main guy for Kyle Padron so far in this ball game. And the other guy they need to get involved is Aldrick Robinson. We saw him catch a deep pass first play of the game. Since that time, he's only caught one other ball, and they haven't been able to get it to him over the top.
I believe that's the only pass play that has gotten behind the Army defense. A scramble for Padron, picking up a couple.
Yeah, let's take a look at Darius Johnson's first half thus far. See him helping out a scrambling quarterback, tapping the toe, getting it in bounds here. A nice catch out front. And then he goes up top, snags a deep ball where he was wide open.
There's Robinson. But quickly up on him was Josh Jackson, who had an interception earlier in the ball game.
SMU uses their first timeout.
SMU first.
We'll take the break with them. On the move, trying to get some points on the board before the half. They trail 16-0, trying to win back-to-back bowl games in consecutive seasons for the first time since the late 40s. Enjoying their best success since the days of Eric Dickerson and Craig James and Lance McElwain. Trying to go over the top to Robinson, off his fingertips in the end zone. Fourth down coming up. Capital One Bowl Week continuing Friday on New Year's Eve. South Florida Clemson will get things going on ESPN at noon in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. Then at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, it's Georgia and the champions of Conference USA, UCF. That's in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then the Chick-fil-A Bowl with South Carolina and Florida State, 7:30 on ESPN. Check out all 3 games on your phone and online as well at ESPN3.com.
I love this time of year. Bowl game after bowl game after bowl game.
You don't have to get off the couch here for
no, I don't.
4 or 5 days in a row.
Beautiful.
There's Eric Dickerson looking on.
Right. Part of the Pony Express back in the, mid-early 80s?
And a key component in bringing June Jones here. They really wanted to get the alumni involved in hiring the new coach. You know, Jones is the 5th coach since they got the death penalty back in the late 1980s.
And Dickerson played from 79 to 82, all-time leading rusher at SMU.
June Jones had a brief flirtation with the University of Maryland and their coaching vacancy, but says, I haven't done what I came here to do yet. I'm committed to being here at SMU.
Right, he reiterated his commitment.
He's got a contract extension through 2014. Direct snap and the hammer. Laid down by Mike Gann.
Boy, he needs to pitch that football right away because the pitch is wide open. This is a lead option, and Padron needs to read this quickly. Right now, pitch the football. I mean, you got guys coming right at your face. You got to pitch the football, and maybe if Steelman was the quarterback in this situation, SMU would have had a better outcome.
Instead, Army will take over on downs. Gann with a big play all over the quarterback, Kyle Padron.
That's kind of bizarre. You see on a 4th down critical situation, SMU go to the option.
Yeah, for the run and shoot team in this game. Now the triple option for Steelman and the rollout. Had to change course when he saw Taylor Reed bearing down on him.
I talked to Trent Steelman yesterday and asked him about these rollout passes, if they were run first or pass first, and he said, well, they're supposed to be pass first, but coach says if there's anything there at all, to go ahead and run. And so that's exactly what he did.
Steelman comes from a family of athletes. His dad played college football, his sister college soccer, his mom runs marathons. 2nd and 9. In trouble. Banjo hauls him down from behind.
Banjo came off the edge on the blitz. Steelman has had success on cutbacks when he does scramble. In fact, he converted a 3rd and long here earlier, but this time Banjo had a beat on him and played him like a drum.
And now June Jones is thinking they might have a chance to get the ball back here. So SMU calls a timeout. Its last one of the half. With 52 seconds to play.
Take a look at the Army drive chart for today, and you saw they got that nice touchdown on the 80-yard drive. That was their 2nd touchdown. Scored the 1st one on defense. And had to punt a couple of times. Nice little field goal drive, and now they've got the football again. And this is not their forte, a 2-minute drill. They're obviously not a big passing team, run the option, and when they get in these type of situations, it's almost scary for them, I think, because they don't pass the football. Bad things can happen to them. And so Rich Ellerson with this nice little lead, I think, is going to be conservative on this 3rd and long.
2 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Make it 2 for 6.
Not a bad play at all. Self set to punt it away. Decent field position. What you can't have is a turnover in that situation, and I think that's exactly what Army's thinking. It's Ian Shields, their offensive coordinator, sent that one in.
And we'll remind you that the punter for Army tends to line up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and SMU very proficient at blocking kicks.
And that's what I expect. Well, they're letting this thing run down. Both sides, neither of them wanting to stop the clock. Content to go into halftime the way things stand. I'm surprised. I thought June Jones would, well, he's out of timeouts, so not much he can do in that case.
So the play clock runs out with 5 seconds to go on the game clock. Army will end up calling a timeout to talk about their strategy here on what could be the final play of the half. Not only football going on around the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, but some of the rabble-rousers from Army, also players from both sides welcoming home the troops out at DFW Airport.
Yeah,
all part of the Welcome Home a Hero program.
That's got to be nice for those guys to have a nice welcoming line coming home. I think it was a good experience on all sides.
They've done a terrific job here. Plenty of activities for the players, but not overloading them with too much that they can't concentrate on the game.
Seeing punter Bowles just 12 yards from the snapper.
Low runner and an opportunity for a return at the 25-yard line. And out to the 30 as the clock expires at the end of the first half. Richard Crawford taken down. The Army Cadets a 16-0 lead. West Pointers scoring on offense, defense. They forced 3 turnovers. Now let's go down to the field and John Berger.
Coach, you're up by 16. What's going on defensively? You've already created 3 turnovers through one half of play.
That's something we take a lot of pride in, our ability to take the ball away. If we're going to be able to hold this bunch down, we're going to have to get better pressure.
What are you seeing up front at the point of attack? It appears that your defensive line is playing well, and you're getting off the ball.
Well, we're playing well. We're playing aggressively. We're not rushing the passer great. You know, we're making it a little bit thick for them to get the run game going, and we're making plays. We're get some takeaways. But as I say, to hold this group down, we're going to have to get consistent pressure up front.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beth, back upstairs.
Thank you very much, John. 16-0, Army on top. Now let's go to Wendy Nix and Robert Smith in the studio for the H&R Block halftime report.
With Capital One's Venture Card, we get double miles on every purchase. So we earned a trip to the Grand Canyon twice as fast. We get double miles every time we use our card. I'll take these, no matter what we're buying. Plus the damages. And since double miles add up quick, we can bring the whole gang. It's hard to beat double miles. No, we write them.
Get the Venture Card from Capital One and earn double miles on every purchase every day. Go to CapitalOne.com.
What's in your wallet? Oh, that's the spot.
The ESPN3.com College Football Halftime Report is brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Happy holidays and welcome to the ESPN3.com Halftime Report. I'm Cassidy Hubbard, as always, alongside Christian Fourier, and we have a very special guest, and Auburn head coach and 2010 Home Depot Coach of the Year, Gene Chizik. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Absolutely great to be here, guys.
Well, your Auburn Tigers are looking to make it 5 straight national championships for the SEC when you play Oregon on January 10th. Now, Coach, was there a point in the season where you realized that you had a special team?
Well, there was. You know, there were so many questions earlier in the year, starting with quarterback. And, you know, that's kind of the key. You know, as your team goes, it's usually how your quarterback goes, or at least that's a big part of the puzzle. And we didn't know. And after we just got, you know, through game 3 and 4, won a couple of really close games, knew that our team kind of had it in them to play as a team, to not get down with, you know, go with the ups and downs of the games, and see that our quarterback had a chance to be really good. He had a chance to be legit. We felt like we had a chance to have a really good football team.
Now, Coach, you were defensive coordinator before you became a head coach. Now, you look at this Oregon offense. Now, in your best non-head coach, non-filtered way, how do you prepare for Oregon?
It's tough. It really is tough. You know, if you go ahead and you watch them through the whole season, what you see continuously is not just the tempo of the offense that's very challenging. You see people having a hard time getting lined up. You see people trying to do things that are maybe a little bit out of characteristic for what they really want to do and who they want to be on defense, because, you know, they try to create different and new ways to defend it, where we have felt like, you know, you got to get lined up and you got to play sound defense and basically do what you do.
Can you guys run with them?
They're extremely talented and fast. There's no question about it. Probably the fastest, you know, one of the fastest teams we've certainly played. It's going to be a tall order for us. It's going to be a challenge, but I think we'll be up to it.
Well, you've had 4 comebacks from double-digit deficits, and then also you've been dealing with a lot of drama surrounding your quarterback, Cam Newton. How have you been able to keep your team focused on the field?
Well, first of all, I've got a great coaching staff. I feel like I've got the best coaching staff in America. These guys, and we took it position room by position room, and we said, look, in your room, you got to make sure that your guys come out every day and they're focused and ready to play. And each one of our coaches really took that to heart. Our players really bought into the fact that we're going to take this play by play, day by day. And if we'll do that, then we'll have a chance to win every Saturday. And if we have a chance to win every Saturday right now, then eventually we'll have the opportunity to be sitting in this seat. And I think everybody just bought in.
Yeah, it's a great mentality as a coach and to give to your players. So I just want to touch on Cam Newton real quickly because with so much going on with him, you know, head coach has a lot to do with the maturity of a player, especially a quarterback. Because there's always a close relationship between head coach and quarterback. Any fatherly advice that you gave him when he was going through probably the hardest time of the season?
Well, Cameron and I had we had numerous very candid conversations. First of all, he's a pleasure to work with. He's mature beyond his years. What you see and what everybody sees, that's what you get. He's no different in practice than he is, you know, what everybody sees on TV. He's a great leader, and he's got his stuff together. I mean, he's got his stuff together. For him to be able to focus through some of the outside distractions that it would be hard for you and I to focus through, for a young man that's 20, 21 years old to be able to do that is phenomenal. But we had several talks about, hey, listen, you know, you've got one goal. Your goal is to be the quarterback of the Auburn Tigers and to help us win every week. Everything else will take care of itself. Let's focus on the things that we can control. And he did it for 13 weeks.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, it is. You guys picked up steam definitely towards the end of the year, just fighting and fighting. That Alabama game was just outstanding. Now, when you look at it, the last time you guys played was December 4th. It will be over a month before the time you step onto the field, January 10th. What challenges do you face with that much time off?
It's tough. And you know, I can't sit here and say it's not. It's tough because you really have to have a great plan. You know, you've got so much time off right now. You've got so many things you can do. You can over-practice them. You can under-practice them. They have to be ready to play on January 10th, not a day before or not a day too late. But I think we've got a good plan in order.
Who do you think gained the most weight over the period of time before when you guys weren't practicing?
Our coaches.
Taking the tour like you are right now?
But yeah, let me tell you, we're keeping very close monitor on our offense and defensive linemen right now because they can all eat and they love it. That's probably the best thing they do.
Well, Auburn is looking to win its first national championship since 1957. You can watch this game January 10th on ESPN and ESPN3.com. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, great to be here. Thank y'all.
All right, coming up after the break, we'll preview the granddaddy of them all, who will be smelling the roses. Stick around.
ESPN Friday Night Fights returns January 7th, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Capital One Halftime Report. It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Undefeated and third-ranked TCU takes on Big Ten champ Wisconsin. The Badgers are making their 7th trip to the Rose Bowl and their first since 1999. They've won 3 straight Rose Bowl appearances. The Horned Frogs are 15-3 versus BCS AQ schools, including 2-0 versus Big Ten schools over that stretch. Now, looking at this matchup, Wisconsin has totaled over 550 yards of offense in each of their last 3 games, has put up 70 points 3 times this season, and is averaging 43 points a game. Now, Christian, that's a lot. What makes this offense so explosive?
For Wisconsin, it's easy. It's their power running game. They take a lot of pride in being physical and imposing their will on defenses. They have 3 backs that have combined for nearly 2,900 yards. James White, John Clay, and freshman Monty Ball. Now, they're not just bruisers. They can make guys miss in space. Now, they run behind a veteran offensive line where the smallest guy is 6'3", 312 pounds. And these guys are athletic. They run in the counter. They pull. They do a great job of blocking in space. And this is what Wisconsin does. They run the ball. They run the ball. They get you to overcommit and to brace for the run. And then Scott Tolzien, with that 74% completion percentage, throws the ball over your head. Touchdown. Huge test for TCU.
Huge test, but the Badgers haven't faced a defense like TCU's defense, who's ranked first in total and scoring defense and has allowed more than 24 points just once. So how can TCU stop Wisconsin's offense?
Huge test for Gary Patterson. I know he's known as a defensive guru, but TCU runs a 4-2-5 defense. Now, this defense is built for speed and to defeat the spread offense. They haven't faced an offense like this in the last 2 years. Now, for TCU, what they need to do, they need to attack the line of scrimmage. They need to get penetration. They need to make Wisconsin's running backs go east and west, slow them down. And if they do that, they can take advantage of the speed that they have on the outside. bottle everything up on the inside, force them outside. TCU has a chance.
A lot of strong players on the field. Which player do you think is going to step up big in this game?
Well, when I look at this game, I think of one person, Andy Dalton. There's not a more seasoned quarterback in football right now. You think about what he's done. 41 game winner as a starter. Right now, he has 167 QB rating. He's thrown 26 touchdowns. And if you go back to last year, I think this is a big redemption game for Andy Dalton. In that Fiesta Bowl against Boise State, 25 for 44, 272 yards, but very uncharacteristic of Andy Dalton. He had 1 TD and 3 interceptions. That's not the Andy Dalton that we knew last year. It's not the Andy Dalton we know this year. If he can get a good game going, concentrate on moving the chains, keep that Wisconsin team off the field, another reason why TCU can win this game.
Well, they could, but who's your pick for this game?
Oh, man, you know, it's like I say everything to pick TCU, but I'm taking a big physical, old-school, bruising offense of Wisconsin and a physical, game-changing defense led by J.J. Watt over TCU. And listen, nobody has been on TCU's bandwagon more than I have, so this pains me to take Wisconsin. But that running game, it's just too powerful.
Well, the Badgers will look to reverse a bad trend for the Big Ten in Rose Bowls. Since the 2000 season, the Big Ten is 1-6 in the granddaddy of them all, with the only win by Ohio State coming last season. For more on this matchup, let's send it over to Todd McShay.
There might not be a better trenches matchup than the one we're going to see in this Rose Bowl between offensive tackle Marcus Cannon for TCU and J.J. Watt, the defensive end from Wisconsin. Now, Cannon, he's 6'6", 363 pounds, going up against Watt, who's also right around 6'5", 6'6", but is coming in about 270 pounds. So talking almost a 100-pound difference in these two. What are you looking for? I think Watt, how does he use his hands? How does he stay off the blocks and keep from Cannon getting in and locking onto his body? Watt has been tremendously productive this year, 21 tackles for loss. He's only a junior, but there's a lot of talk about him leaving school early, possibly as an early second-round draft pick. One other player to watch, also at the offensive tackle position, Gabe Karimi, number 2 offensive tackle on our board. Good in the pass game, great as a run blocker. He should be dominant in this game against a small TCU defensive line.
Thanks, Todd. Time now for our Capital One Impact Performance. We congratulate the Florida International Panthers for their first ever bowl win in school history. On their final drive, Wesley Carroll hit Jacob Younger over the middle with that pitch to T.Y. Hilton on 4th and 17. Then Jack Griffin nailed a 34-yard field goal to secure the 34-32 win over the Toledo Rockets in the Little Caesars Bowl. This has been quite a turnaround season for the FIU Panthers, finishing tied for first in the Sun Belt Conference. The Panthers won 5 of their last 6 games. If you want to keep track of the race and see who's in the lead in the overall standings and other sports, you can log on to CapitalOneCup.com/standings for the latest updates. Coming up, we'll tell you how to bring in the new year right. We'll preview the Fiesta and Capital One Bowls after the break.
The worldwide leader in entertainment meets the worldwide leader in sports together in one place. Over 3,500 live and on-demand events. Choose from hundreds of clips and highlights daily. See all your scores at once. Predict who the winner will be. Experience the next generation of live sports entertainment. ESPN on Xbox Live.
This college football bowl moment is brought to you by Connect for Xbox 360. You are the controller.
Time now for our best connecting play of the bowl season, presented by Connect for Xbox 360. San Diego State's Ryan Lindley connected with Vincent Brown for a 53-yard TD to give the Aztecs an early lead over Navy in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Say that 3 times fast. Brown finished with 165 yards receiving on 8 catches as the Aztecs went on to win 35-14. Want to bring in the new year right? Well, let's take a look at some of the bowl games you can catch on New Year's Day. Make sure to watch the Ticket City Bowl between Northwestern and Texas Tech at 1 p.m. Then you won't want to miss Urban Meyer's last game as the head coach of the Gators in the Outback Bowl between Florida and Penn State at 1 p.m. on ABC. And then the Progressive Gator Bowl between Mississippi State and Michigan at 1 p.m. You can catch all these games on the ESPN family of networks. Another big game on New Year's Day is between Big 12 champ Oklahoma and Big East champ Connecticut. Oklahoma is playing in its 8th BCS Bowl, second most since the BCS was created. Bob Stoops is tied with Jim Tressel for the most BCS appearances by a head coach. Connecticut is playing in its first ever BCS Bowl in the school's 11th year of playing in the FBS. Now, the Huskies are the 4th team in the BCS era to play in a BCS Bowl with 4 losses. Oklahoma is currently listed as a 17-point favorite in Las Vegas, which would mean that UConn, if they would win, would pull off the largest upset in BCS history. Now, what do the Huskies have to do to pull off the win?
Well, they need 2 guys to step up big, and the first is a little obvious. That's running back Jordan Todman, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, second leading rusher in the nation with over 143 yards per game. He's the focal point of this offense and a big reason why they turned their season around. Now, the Sooners, they're going to focus big time on Todman, and they're going to try and stop him. If that happens, quarterback Zach Frazier has to make some plays with his arm. Now, Frazier's role up to now has been a game manager. Hand the ball off to Todman, don't turn it over, and just get out of the way. The problem is Todman, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 52% completion rate. He's not the best guy when the chips are on the table. So if Todman can't continue to roll out yards like he's been doing all year, Frazier has to come up.
All right, well, the Sooners are favored to win this game, but they haven't been great in the postseason, losing a record 5 consecutive BCS Bowls since winning the 2003 Rose Bowl. So what's one thing that Oklahoma has to focus on coming into this game?
Okay, now you look at Oklahoma, you look at their history. The one thing they need to do is they need to self-motivate. They've had a game, they played in the Fiesta Bowl a couple times, and they've lost. And you look at, it's particularly to Boise State and West Virginia, times where they have been favored, they just haven't showed up. So you think about their playmakers. You think about the guys who really have to have big games. DeMarco Murray is a guy, a senior, who has over 1,900 combined yards and 19 touchdowns. Landry Jones and that connection to Ryan Broyles, who has over 118 catches. And the Big 12 lineman of the year, Jeremy Beal, 8.5 sacks, 18 tackles for a loss. Now, if you look at Oklahoma, what you don't want to do is let a team like UConn hang around and get momentum. Because where I sit, I will take a highly motivated, less talented UConn team that's playing with a chip on its shoulder over an Oklahoma team that is highly talented but has no focus and no motivation. Oklahoma has to be really careful because if they let UConn hang around, it's going to be Boise State 2, and they're going to end up with another loss in a BCS Bowl.
All right, well, shifting gears to a non-BCS Bowl, but still a major matchup. The Capital One Bowl features number 7 Michigan State and 15th-ranked Alabama. Michigan State has lost its last 4 bowl games, while Alabama has alternated wins and losses in its past 8, including obviously the national championship last year. A little interesting note about the coaches in this game. Alabama coach Nick Saban was the Spartans head coach before going to LSU, and Michigan State coach Mark D'Antonio was his former assistant while at Michigan State. So, Christian, on the field, there are a ton of big names in this game. So who are some of the players we should watch out for?
Key matchup right now is Michigan State inside linebacker and All-American Greg Jones going up against former Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. Now, you look at Greg Jones, 6'1", 240 pounds. He has great play recognition. What's play recognition? The ability to see a formation, and based on the down and distance, he knows exactly where the ball is going before it's snapped. That gives him a big advantage. Now, Mark Ingram, he doesn't have the numbers that he had last year, only 816 yards rushing, but he has 3 things. He has the vision. He can get through the interior line and still make plays. He has the speed to get to the outside, and he has the power to break tackles and get yards after contact. Mark Ingram, Greg Jones, two future NFL players going head-to-head in a bowl game.
Mark Ingram also had tons of family who went to Michigan State, a lot of Michigan State ties. He actually had to choose between Alabama and Michigan State, so that's just an interesting point there.
Made a good choice, though.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great matchup, but what do you think is going to be the overall key to this game?
Okay, so you look at this game, you have 2 teams. They both have veteran QBs. They both have solid running games, and they're both a little shaky and young in the secondary position. But you got to look at Michigan State quarterback Kirk Cousins and his ability and the offensive line's ability to pre-snap communicate about what's going on. They're going against one of the best defenses in the SEC. Only give up 14 points 296 yards per game. They love the blitz. And you know, Nick Saban, he has an extra week to prepare. So you know Michigan State is going to see something, a blitz package that they haven't seen all year, that Alabama hasn't shown all year. So their ability to read that before it happens and make the adjustment is going to be key. But unfortunately, I still like Alabama in this game. I don't know what it is. The SEC keeps rolling in my mind. I can't get off of it.
Well, we will see who will win this game on New Year's Day. You can catch this game on ESPN and ESPN3. Kickoff is at 1 Eastern. Now that's a wrap on the ESPN3.com halftime report presented by Capital One. I'm Cassidy Hubbard. He's Christian Fourier. Enjoy the second half. Happy New Year.
Your home for the BCS.
With Ryan.
ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed sports history being made.
Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, the Army Cadets leading SMU 16-0. As the Mustangs will try and regroup and bounce back from a rough first half of play, but it will be West Point with the ball. Set to receive the kick here to start the third quarter.
Tell you, in the first half, Beth, I was impressed with the speed of the Army defense. They've really done a nice job flying around in that secondary, limiting scoring opportunities for the Mustangs.
Mustangs will kick it away. And through the end zone, the touchback from the 20-yard line for Army for their first possession. And here's the Nationwide Insurance game track and 3 giveaways for SMU.
Yeah, it's all about the turnovers here. The fumble by Padron picked up in a touchdown return. There's Steven Anderson with his interception, and then Josh Jackson with his. And the Army defense has not only gotten points themselves, they've pitched a shutout in the first half against the Mustangs. Pretty impressive display.
Josh McNary with a 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Malcolm Brown a 13-yard touchdown scamper. And then Alex Carlton with the 44-yard field goal. He has made 11 in a row over the last 7 games for Army. And the first play of the second half goes to Patrick Mealy up the gut. Chris Banjo coming up from the secondary to make the hit.
Quick little double dive. They caught Taylor Thompson jumping around a block and just gutted it up inside.
Pickup of 7 on first down. 122 yards rushing for Army in that first half, running the triple option. Getting the best of the run and shoot so far today. Jarrett Hassan, he's got the first down. Hassan continues his assault on the 1,000-yard mark for the season. He would be just the second sophomore in school history to do that. Mike Mayweather over 1,000 back in 1988. Not bad for a converted tailback who hadn't played for 3 years before this season.
Right. He said, you know, all that time off kind of made him realize what he was missing, and doing a heck of a job at that fullback, that critical fullback spot for this triple option offense.
17 yards to get to 1,000. He has the ball again to the 35. Margus Hunt, one of the first guys there, along with Justin Smart, 3 yards on the pickup.
It's interesting, this Mustang defensive line, you know, they're in an odd front, so they have a nose and a couple of ends, and those ends are crashing hard on every play.
Hassan.
Excuse me, I was going to say that's how Hunt got in there.
He's behind Steelman now. Alongside Mealy. Hassan again for a couple more. A terrific story of a young man who's from an Army family, started out at the Air Force Academy, lasted a couple of months, said this isn't where I want to be, and transferred to West Point. Grew up, though, on Army football. Used to wear a number 7 jersey that his dad got for him when they used to watch the games together. And now wearing it for real and trying to get Army to their first winning season since 1996.
I believe his girlfriend has that old number 7 jersey now, so it's still in the family.
Steelman keeps. Going to be close to the marker.
That's a nice job there by Taylor Reed. Once again filling in, as you see, Hassan 11 yards shy of 1,000. Army's going to go for it here. I don't know about this with the lead in your own territory, going for it on 4th and 1. A gutsy call. Unless they're just trying to draw him off, which might be the case. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think Rich Ellerson really wanted to snap the football in that situation.
16-0 lead for Army early in the third. Only crowd here. SMU essentially playing a home game on their own field here as the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl has had to make the move from Fort Worth over here to Gerald Ford Stadium as they make some changes over at TCU's football stadium. Our first half stats brought to you by American Airlines. The total yardage advantage for SMU, but the 3 turnovers costly.
Yeah, they're fortunate. And look at Army. They have decided to go for this one. Surprising.
4th and 2 from their own 41-yard line. Trying to get around the edge. And looks like they've got enough with Malcolm Brown spinning over the defender to get the yardage.
Great block by Austin Barr on the edge. He pins the edge. Watch it right here in front of you. See him hook the outside defender there and then push him by. That's Justin Smart that he worked against, and that gave Army just enough room to manage the first down. A gutsy call by Coach Ellerson.
He calls this football program a leadership laboratory. And the moxie right there, and then Hassan busting wide open up the middle and down to the 40-yard line of SMU.
There's your 1,000 right there. Excellent cut in the hole by Hassan. Just a little side step to the left to hit that opening, and bam. I'll tell you, he's a load coming straight up the middle. You see right there, he sees the hole, little jog step to the left, had a nice block from his tackle coming down. Frank Allen making a play for him.
75 yards on the day, over 1,000 for the season, and now within reach of Mayweather's sophomore rushing record at Army is Steelman. Ducks for cover behind the line, back to the 45-yard line. Marquise Frazier made the initial push, and then Justin Smart credited with the tackle.
Great get off and push by Frazier, the nose. I mean, he took Zach Peterson, the center, and knocked him right back into the lap of Steelman, and that basically aborted that play right from the beginning.
5-yard loss, 2nd and 15. SMU's defense trying to make some plays to get the ball back to Padron and company, see if they can get something cranked up. Instead, more room right up the middle, this time for Patrick Mealy down to the 35. Bring up 3rd and short. Justin Sorrell on the stop after a 10-yard pickup.
And you got to give a lot of credit to Jared Hassan and what he's done. I mean, taking over this position as a true sophomore and, you know, coming from a different school, hadn't played for several years. Boy, he has taken to this option offense like a duck to water. He was a tailback, an I formation tailback in high school, and to make the adjustment to fullback has been pretty special.
Ooh, able to hang on to the pitch, but another play for negative yardage as Jagarrett Davis, the sophomore from Crockett, Texas, and all-conference USA selection, makes the hit.
Steelman was lucky, got that pitch out quick, and Hassan was lucky he didn't totally fumble that thing, juggled it a little bit. By the time he got control, Davis was all over him. Maybe that's the spark SMU needs to get things going, because they've been a little bit, you know, kind of just flopping around here so far today.
Crawford back at his own 10-yard line with Bulls on to punt. No pressure coming from SMU. Bulls, oh, it hit the SMU defender trying to block on the play. And SMU able to get it back.
They've got 2 number 10s on the roster, so that was either Chase Jobert or Chris Parks. Not sure which one of the number 10s. But right here, you've got to get out of the way, and you got to be told by that return man, make a poison call, wave your arms, get him out of there. Instead, it's a turnover.
16-0 Army leading SMU, and our John Berger is now standing by with one of the great running back tandems in college football history. John?
Yeah, the Pony Express. I have Craig James and I have Eric Dickerson. Guys, let me get right into it. SMU paid a price in the 1980s, given the death penalty. What does it mean to both you guys to be back here and now your team's in a bowl game?
Well, to be able to come back and to see Eric and be on the same field when we were kids out here having a great time. It's good to see SMU in a bowl game. And, you know, and it's great for the fans. It's great for the community. I've seen not just SMU fans here. I've seen Texas fans, A&M fans, all kinds of fans from this area have come out to support SMU. It's a community field. It's a great deal.
Hey, Craig said it all. I mean, I'm glad to come back, and it's great to come back to a field that we used to practice on. That's our home field. I mean, and see all the fans and the guys we played with, and, you know, see the other part of the Pony Express, and you know, and want to win the game most of all.
Craig, talk a little bit about your work for ESPN. What's it like just being a fan out here?
Well, you know what? Last night getting off the air and coming back here, and people are like, hey, are you working the game? I'm like, no, I'm not working the game. I'm barely awake. It's weird to come to a game and to see it and not try to be an analyst, you know? Because Eric and I, we're sitting here talking about, hey, if they could do this or that. You just walk in the stadium, you're a regular guy, and just come try to enjoy it best you can. My wife is the hardest part for me. Hey, man, what are they doing? Where are we doing this? I'm like, oh. Just watch the game, honey.
Eric, talk a little bit about what was it like playing with Craig James. You guys are number 3 and number 1 and number 3 rushers all time in SMU history. What is it like playing with Craig in the backfield?
I mean, it was great because, you know, when you played against a football team, especially their defense, and they didn't know, you know, how to defend me or Craig. And, you know, when I left the game or if he left the game, we never lost a beat, and that made it tough on all defenses.
What was it like playing against Jim McMahon in the ball game where he throws the Hail Mary in the Holiday Bowl?
Every time I see Jim, I say, y'all know the referees cheated us in that game. You know, Jim is a good friend, and he always laughs about it. But, you know, that was a tough loss for us back in those days. We were a young football team. That was our sophomore year. But, you know, we got to our first bowl game, and we did lose it. But, you know, I guess we'll always be history. I mean, and the greatest comeback probably of all time in college football.
Craig, do you plan on getting more involved with the SMU program now, or are they asking you to get more involved now that things appear to be on the rise?
Well, Eric's been very involved. He really was instrumental in helping get June Jones here. I'm really trying to get involved with the institution. I really believe in the kids and our future being with the kids. And so I want to learn how to help them out when they're here on this campus, the student life that they have. And so maybe that next part of my life will be a part of this here.
Well, there you have it. It's Craig James and Eric Dickerson, part of the Pony Express. Back upstairs, Beth.
Thank you very much, John. Boy, were they fun to watch back in the late 70s, early 80s. Dickerson and James together. That memorable Holiday Bowl matchup with Jim McMahon that they alluded to. And the great comeback for BYU. SMU finished up their senior year undefeated with one tie, and they lost out to Penn State for the national championship back in '82, and they won the bowl last year, winning the Hawaii Bowl, and they're trying to win back-to-back bowl games for the first time since right after World War II. A tremendous tradition of football here. Of course, the death penalty back in the '80s is something that everybody remembers, but boy, those two together in the backfield were something else.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. I tackled both those guys at one point or another, and that was not as pleasant as you might think. Although I got to say, Dickerson went down a little easier later in his career than he did earlier.
1st and 10. SMU has been able to move the ball pretty well today, but hurt by the 3 turnovers and a missed field goal in that first half. Zach Line, the leading rusher in Conference USA this season, rumbles to the 36 after picking up 13 more yards. And their first possession of this second half. We heard from John Berger just a moment ago and Beth Mowins, along with Ray Bentley, who enjoyed a good college career and then on to the NFL. So far, this Army team, who we thought might be overpowered a little bit with the SMU size and speed, that really hasn't been the case.
Oh, they've really done a great job today in terms of slowing things down. And right now, though, they're on their heels a little bit. Finally, the Mustangs got something going in this little drive here.
It's the triple option against the run and shoot here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. Padron flushed out and throws it away.
Pass incomplete.
As he has done throughout the course of the season, he will, after the play, go over to the sideline, not only to get the next play, but to get some counsel from his head coach, June Jones.
Yeah, usually the first thing Coach Jones says, what'd you see? What'd you see on that one? Okay, this next play, be looking for this, that, or the other thing. He does a lot of coaching before giving the play to his young quarterback as he tries to groom Kyle Padron into a Jedi master of the run and shoot.
His favorite target today has been Darius Johnson, 5 catches over 100 yards. Has to throw another one away. Good coverage downfield from that Army secondary.
I was trying to figure out just how far Padron ends up, jogging during the course of a game. You figure 60 plays, he's going to go on the average 50 yards, 25 over, 25 back. He's putting in, close to, what, 2,500 yards a game as far as just his strolling around.
Good cardio workout back and forth. They are just 1 of 5 today on 3rd down, and right now they need 10 yards.
Probably 4th down territory right now for the Mustangs.
Stepping up, throws it underneath to Johnson inside the 30, diving inside the 25. That's 1st down yardage, a pickup of 12.
And give Zach Line all the credit for this one. The fullback is on the left side, and he has to work across the formation to get the protection. See him over there on the right? He sees the free runner coming off the other side, crosses in front of his quarterback, picks up that block to buy enough time for Padron to get the ball down the field. And that's why they brought Zach Line over there. He was the only one who knew anything about pass protection. He started out as a linebacker. That lasted about 1 practice, and they said, come on over here. You're going to block people.
He's bigger than 9 of the 11 starters today for Army. A converted linebacker playing fullback. Padron trying to spin out of the pressure. Marcus Hilton got there, a loss of 5.
6-man blitz by Army on that one, which is part of this defense that they've been playing all day extremely well. You see right here, they're going to control things on the edge. Mackey making a play. Big hit right there coming in from Steven Anderson. And they've just had great penetration up front. And not all the pressure that they want, but they have had some good pressure, and they've stopped the running game for the most part.
Line with 66 yards today. Coming in, averaging 107, and more pressure on the quarterback. Padron incomplete. Jordan Trimble right in his grill.
Bam Sadat and Chris Smealin, the co-defensive coordinators for the Cadets, have been dialing up the blitzes here in this series, and Padron just paid for it big time on that last one.
A.J. Mackey, Jarrett's brother, was the other guy that got in there. 3rd and 15 from the Black Knights 29. Caught at the 15, inside the 10-yard line. Keenan Holman, 1st and goal, Mustangs.
Great job of picking up the blitz, giving Padron the time, and then it's just a slant route. Watch him up at the top of the screen, going to run the defender off a little bit, and then slant, cut in front of him using his body, and then some yards after the catch by the true freshman, Keenan Holman.
His first catch of the day out of Beaumont, Texas. He's going to stay in there.
It's a couple of big 3rd down conversions by this Mustang offense.
Deepest drive of the day for SMU. This the 11th play. Line looking for some room to the 7. Steve Erzinger, the junior from Houston, on the tackle.
And Zach Line actually ran into Bryce Tennyson, the pulling guard, and he had to kind of get that guy out of his way. You see right there, Tennyson's pulling, and the line says, come on, man, get out of the way or hit somebody, do something. And by the time he got shed his own blocker, the Army had showed up.
Three receivers to the left.
Little pistol formation.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that yet.
Line's going to get it and tripped up. Steven Anderson making the play.
Great timing on the blitz by Anderson. Shoots the backside A gap, flattens out, and is able to make the tackle. He's a special player. See him right here, how he kind of squeezes through that gap and then is able to redirect. A lot of times guys come flying through gaps and they end up running past the play. Anderson's agile enough that he got through there, flattened out, and made a diving tackle. I know his grandmother's watching and enjoying the show down in Florida.
3rd and goal. Padron to the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Eldrick Robinson with a touchdown catch for the 8th game in a row.
Oh, he just beat Josh Jackson. Gave him Jackson's up in press, and Robinson gives him a little shake of the shoulders and then cuts across his face. Watch this little shake right here. The one little step to the outside. Jackson bought into that. Robinson wide open. Nice throwing lane for Padron, and the Mustangs get on the board.
Extra point good from Matt Zemansky, and they finally strike on their first possession of this 3rd quarter. 16-7. Padron to Aldrick Robinson, and the senior hauls it in.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Experience the all-new Outlander Sport at your Mitsubishi dealer. The Capital One Venture Card, what's in your wallet. And Aflac, invest in your employees' future without paying a cent. Learn more at aflac.com.
Some of the military hardware on display here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. They've got even got pieces of musicians and parts of helicopters in the trophy that will be handed out after the game to the winner of today's matchup.
Yeah, 55-pound trophy. A lot of scrap metal in that bad boy.
Kickoff through the end zone, out to the 20 for Army on its second possession of this second half. Capital One Bowl Week continuing later tonight. Got a couple of games for you. North Carolina and Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Then at 10 Eastern, Washington and Nebraska in the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Both games are also available online at ESPN3.com as well as on your phone. And, Tennessee's freshman quarterback, Tyler Bray, taking on that tough North Carolina defense. And the good quarterback matchup with Nebraska and Washington. Jake Locker and Taylor Martinez.
I'd tell you, Kyle Padron woke up in that last drive. He was 5 of 8 for 67 yards, converted 3 third-down passes, and that bodes well for SMU for the rest of this ball game if he can finally get things rolling a little bit, which he certainly did on that last drive.
Not often do you see the run and shoot go in 13 plays, 92 yards in 6 minutes, but that's what got it done for them.
Nice little drive there.
Down the keeper, diving out across the 23. Excuse me, the pitch to Brown. Ryan Smith coming up to make the hit. Pickup of 7, that'll move the chains. Every time they were breaking the huddle during their early season practices and throughout the year, Army was talking about staying together and bring back the winning ways. Not only did they want to get to a bowl, they wanted to win the bowl and get a winning season for the first time in 15 years.
Little inside trap misdirection play, not much there, but this is a triple option offense, and where you really want to succeed if you are Army is with the dive. That's the whole thing that makes, I think, the triple option go. And you look at it today so far in the breakdown, pretty good on that dive. 16 times for 75 yards. The pitch 5 for 13, but they did get that touchdown on the pitch early in the ball game to Malcolm Brown. So that's kind of how the option's breaking down. Not much out of Steelman today, but you don't need that if your fullback is gashing people, and Hassan's done a nice job of doing that.
All 3 of the service academies now running the option. All 3 of them top 10 in the country in rushing this year, and all 3 in bowl games this season for the first time in history. Justin Sorrell gets the tackle for SMU.
And Patrick Mealy, the lead back in this, he's going to pass up a defender, and that's the defender that makes the tackle right there. You can't ever pass up a guy, and Sorrell didn't get blocked. He's going to step up and make a nice hit, nice tackle. But I think Mealy missed his assignment on that one.
Army just 2 for 8 on 3rd down today. Simon Cherniak, the injured player, coming to the sideline for SMU, and Army wants the timeout. And that will be their second, 1 left for them the rest of the way with 26 seconds to go here in the 3rd. And for Rich Ellerson and this Army team, talking about getting back to winning ways. It's so personal for a lot of these players coming from military families, including the coach, whose father and 2 brothers both attended the academy and are lifelong members of the military. Don't forget about the Rose Bowl coming up, presented by Vizio. New Year's Day, Wisconsin and TCU. Coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern. The Rose Bowl is also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, and also on your phone. Ellerson talked about the tremendous trust, not only from the alumni, but from the entire country. When you think about it, how all Americans have a rooting interest in some form in the service academies.
You talked about this being a celebration, but also he said it was so important for the seniors to get a payoff, and you know they'll forever be known as that group that started the turnaround for the Black Knights, got them a winning season if they're able to hang on here today.
Brian Cobbs gets out to the 39-yard line. Ryan Smith with another tackle. It's going to bring up a 4th and short. They went for it and got it almost at this spot on the field earlier in the half.
They're going to let that clock run down to end the quarter and then think about it a little bit. This one's a little bit further than the last one they converted.
16-7 Army as we head to the fourth. Welcome back to ESPN College Football in the Capital One Bowl week. This is the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl with Army taking on SMU from Gerald J. Ford Stadium in University Park, Texas. 16-7 Army. The defense scored on the Josh McNary fumble recovery. Malcolm Brown rushed for a 13-yard touchdown. Alex Carlton with the 44-yard field goal all in the first half. They have not turned it over. They have not been penalized. And they are about to punt it away here on fourth down.
That's amazing. Very clean ball game by the West Point.
SMU going to take over at their 26-yard line. Conversely for the Mustangs, 3 costly turnovers in the first half, but their first possession of the second half, a very good one. 13 plays, 92 yards for the touchdown.
And Kyle Padron got himself on track a little bit. Converted 3 third downs in that drive with some excellent pinpoint passing. Army has tried to turn up the heat a little bit. They blitzed numerous times in that last drive, trying to get hits on Padron.
The sophomore who was the MVP at the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl last year will try and rally the troops here in the second half for SMU. Just underway in the fourth quarter. Zach Line offset in the backfield. Underneath, Johnson slips out at the 28. That's his 7th catch of the day.
Johnson doing a real nice job as far as becoming that go-to guy. He's one of 3 receivers for SMU coming into the game that had over 60 receptions. So it's usually a combination of Robinson, Beasley, and Darius Johnson. Johnson getting most of the work today.
Padron running out of time, slips away from Anderson, dumps it off to line. Tries to tiptoe down the sideline, gets to the 35. A 7-yard pickup will leave them a yard short.
All right, Steven Anderson's going to hate himself because he has a sack coming right here off the edge. See him get off that block late and then try to wrap up Padron, and he had a little spin move in him. And I've been impressed with Padron's movement in the pocket today. I question that in preparation for this game. I thought he just went down too easily, stumbled around a lot, fell down on his own sometimes. Been pretty strong on his feet so far today.
Nice snag by Holman at the 40 and a first down for SMU. Army is taking away the deep ball, so Padron picks away short.
Great adjustment on that route by Holman. You're going to watch him come underneath, and then he feels the defender there, so he keeps it short, keeps it underneath the Erzinger, the linebacker there, who could have had a big blow-up shot, but he kind of overran it a little bit.
Pick up a 5, moves the chains from their own 40. It's the Mustangs in the run and shoot that have become the ball control offense here in the second half, and they're going to call a timeout. 16-7 Army, but the Mustangs on the move early in the fourth.
My name's Chief Warrant Officer Kurt Lautenschlager on a Coast Guard cutter in Quidnick, underway in the Arabian Gulf. I'd like to say happy holidays to my friends and family back home in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. My daughters, Kelsey, Alyssa, Lauren, my fiancée, Melanie, and her 2 children, Noelle and Brendan. Happy holidays. See you soon.
The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl here at Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas-Fort Worth. 16-7, Army leading SMU as the Mustangs try and win back-to-back bowls for the first time since the 40s. Army looking for its first bowl win since the Cherry Bowl back in 1985. Zach Line can't get to the edge. Donovan Travis able to wrap him up after Josh McNary slowed him down.
One thing about Line is he will take some shots. He's you know, 6'1", 235, but he's what I call a vertical runner. He's straight up and down a lot of times, and that gives a lot of body for defenders to come up and hit. And Donovan Travis laid it on him right there on that run.
Zach Line over 1,400 yards on the season. That's the second best single season mark in school history. Only Eric Dickerson has rushed for more in a year than Zach Line has this season. Good spin by Line, has the first down just across the 50.
Great strength. He broke that Josh McNary tackle.
How about a look at the SMU Bowl history? Their 13th appearance. They won the Hawaii Bowl, blew out Nevada last season.
I remember watching that, and that was a shocker to me. And SMU, they brought June Jones back to Hawaii and gave him a great gift as they dominated Nevada last year.
Jones in his resurrection out at Hawaii ended up taking the Warriors to a BCS game before he left, hoping to do the same with SMU as Line punctures that front line of defense to the 45. 81 yards on the day now for Zach.
Talking about June Jones and him building this program, they have a really good recruiting class coming in. Some of the services rank them in the top 25 in the country as far as that recruiting class they have coming in. So with the young quarterback getting better, even today in front of our very eyes, this is a football team that's on the rise, no doubt.
Played for the Conference USA Championship this year. Padron throws that one out. Had some pressure coming from McNary. Here's Wendy Nix back in the studio.
Third down, 5.
We got a couple 1,000-yard rushers coming up in that game. Delone Carter, Daniel Thomas. K-State and Syracuse coming up. This is the first of 4 coming your way on ESPN today. On third down, Padron has his man at the 35. First down to Keenan Holman.
This is a nice read by Kyle Padron because initially he's looking to the left side for an out route, but he's got 3 receivers out on the right side, all of them coming underneath, and that's part of the run and shoot, and those receivers are reading the coverage along with the quarterback, and when they can get on the same page, man, you cannot stop that run and shoot offense. Holman down after that play.
Freshman from Beaumont, Texas. We're back to the Capital One Bowl Week continues on New Year's Eve with 3 games on ESPN. First at noon at South Florida and Clemson in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. 3:30 Eastern, Georgia and UCF, the champs from Conference USA, in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then at 7:30 Eastern, South Carolina and Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Check out all 3 games on your phone as well as online at ESPN3.com. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Bowman up and headed over to the sideline. All of Army's scoring coming in the first half, a 16-0 lead. This is just the second possession of this second half for SMU. They went 92 yards and scored on their first drive.
That's amazing. I mean, here we are with 10.5 minutes left, and it's only their second possession in the half. That's something else.
First drive took up 13 plays. This is the 9th play of this drive. First and 10 from the Army 35-yard line. They draw the line. Big hole, picks up 8. Kelly Turner leading the way up front.
A great block by Kelly Turner. Got up on the linebacker, and that created extra room for Zach Line. See Zach Line having himself a bit of a day. And boy, he's good when he gets out in open space, and that's what happens a lot in this run and shoot offense, because you have defenders trying to rush upfield to get to the quarterback, and then the rest of them dropping back to stop the pass. A lot of his runs, he's got some open space to deal with.
Sophomore from Oxford, Michigan. Having himself another good day. Padron looking to go over the top into the end zone. Touchdown! Darius Johnson, 28 yards on the strike.
This is a great throw by Kyle Padron as Eric Dickerson's passing out some high fives. Working on the linebacker, Erzinger. You have a mismatch with Darius Johnson at 5'10", 178 going against a 6'1", 222-pound linebacker. Runs past him and gets his head turned around, finds the football. Erzinger not able to. A nice strike and another good drive for the Mustangs.
2 second-half drives, 2 scores, and the Black extra point looming large right now in a 2-point game. Johnson with a tremendous catch over Erzinger.
ESPN College Football, the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, is brought to you by Bell Helicopter, proud to serve those who serve. Ram trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. And the Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell.
And the pregame touchdown of the Cobra helicopter here in Dallas-Fort Worth, 16-14. All Army in the first half, all SMU here in the second half as the Mustangs mount the comeback. It was the triple option winning the first half, and now the run and shoot taking over. Szymanski to kick it away. The difference, by the way, on the scoreboard is a blocked extra point after the second touchdown by Margus Hunt.
The big guy, 6'8", got a hand up, knocked it down, and made it basically a 2-point ball game as we stand.
Margus came here to train with one of the best track and field coaches in the world. He wants to be on the Estonian Olympic team in London, and they took one look at that 6'8" frame and said, son, you got to come play with us while you're here.
Good ball. Boy, that's dangerous with that ball rolling around. It's a live football.
Raymond Maples able to get on it. Army deep in its own territory. Well, the Mustangs remembering Dandy Don Meredith with that number 17 on the helmet, one of their legendary players here at SMU.
And of course, everybody knows Dandy Don from his Monday Night Football days. Him and Howard Cosell used to love to watch that and listen to them. Dandy Don passed away on December 5th. Played here at SMU 1957 through 59.
He was a two-time All-American here. Boy, the Mustangs defense has been up to the challenge here in the second half. That's Margus Hunt, who had the blocked extra point. He stuffs Jared Hassan.
Coming down on that crash stunt from his defensive end position. You're going to see the down block and the pull around, and he just jams things up. Doing a heck of a job on defense. Stuffed Zach Peterson, the center, on that one.
Trent Steelman has only thrown 2 passes since the first quarter, so they are ready for the run as Steelman goes back to throw. Incomplete out at the 20. 3rd and long.
One of the things that happens when you play a triple option team, and I mentioned this earlier in the game, Beth, is early on you're not accustomed to the speed that it comes at you with, because you can't really duplicate that in your scout teams in your preparation. But by all accounts, SMU has caught up to the speed of the triple option, and in this second half they've done a great job defending it.
Incomplete. Looking for Austin Barr. He had Justin Smart bearing down on him and had to get rid of it. Hunting unit comes on, and SMU should have excellent field condition as Barr is slow to get up over on the Army sideline after that play.
Give this SMU defense all the credit. Playing extremely well. Good coverage on those passes. We're only able to eat up 53 seconds off the clock in this possession. I think they're waiting to see what's going on there with Austin Barr. We'll take another look at it. Oh, his foot caught on the turf and the knee buckled, and that's not a pretty sight. Hate to see that.
Jonathan Bowles will be punting from his own goal line. Acker back at the 50, awaiting, along with Crawford. Tremendous punt, backpedaling Acker to the 30-yard line. And some good coverage by Army. Jonathan Bowles, 57 yards to get him out of trouble. Well, the U.S. Armed Forces was the recipient of the Great American Patriot Award from Armed Forces Insurance, and it was presented to Admiral Thad Allen of the Coast Guard, who was so instrumental in the cleanup after the Gulf oil spill earlier this year. Honored with the Great American Patriot Award at halftime. They also were able to give away a house, a part of the Wounded Warrior program. The family of a wounded soldier received a $250,000 new home. They've just done some terrific things here today, honoring our servicemen and women.
That's awesome.
16-0 Army, but SMU has scored on both of its drives here in the second half. Line, look at him lurk, waiting for the opening, and dives out across the 45.
Did a nice job of riding the shoulder of the puller, Kelly Turner, who went around the corner, got in front of him, and Line was able to tuck in behind him and pick up 8 quick yards.
Second down, 1.
Three receivers to the left this time for Padron. Holman solo to the right. Boot on the play action, and he's got Haynes coming across the field. Steven Anderson pushed him out around the 45-yard line. First catch for Haynes, gets the first down.
Boy, he had Beasley, Cole Beasley, wide open if he had just would have waited a little bit. Watch Beasley, he's up at the top in the slot, and you see him come across. Look at how open he is in the middle of that field. Nobody around him. But Padron, he had an open one early, so he dumped it off. But, boy, you got him that wide open 20 yards down the field. Sure would like to see your quarterback get it in there.
Showing the pistol again on first down. Line tried to get away from Anderson to the 39-yard line. Here's Wendy Nix in the studio.
Second down, 4.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, this Army team familiar with playing in Yankee Stadium. They had that memorable matchup with Notre Dame there during the regular season.
Memorable for Notre Dame, not so much for Army.
Zach Line now over 100 yards, 102 for the day. Padron gets the first down to Cole Beasley. His third catch of the afternoon. Jordan Trimble had the coverage.
It's a great year for the academies in football, but for the first time, all three, Navy, Air Force, and Army, made it into the bowl season. So far, 1-1. But congratulations to all of them. I think that's awesome.
Conference USA, meanwhile, 1-3. So SMU trying to get another one for them. Tulsa winner over Hawaii. Padron. Holman couldn't hang on. SMU with scoring drives of 13 plays and 10 plays. And touchdown passes to Aldrick Robinson and Darius Johnson here in the second half.
Padron getting some last-minute instructions from June Jones on the sidelines. Padron closing in on 300 yards. He's 22 of 33 for 299 and a pair of touchdowns. He's played much better in the second half.
That was after he threw 2 interceptions in the first half. Rod a line, picks up a couple. Steven Anderson with the tackle. Let's take a look at those scoring drives here in the second half.
You see him handling the shotgun snap. This one a little slant by Aldrick Robinson down in the red zone. And this he lets fly a perfect strike to Darius Johnson, who had a mismatch on linebacker coverage. Good recognition by Padron, and then threw it into a tight space to get himself his second touchdown pass.
Big difference first to second, with the 14 points being the most critical. Driving for the lead late in the fourth. Padron with the blitz coming. Trimble missed it. Johnson with the catch. He's popped at the 30 by Josh Jackson. Missed opportunity there for the Cadets.
Impressive strength by Kyle Padron to stay up after getting hit on the blitz from Donovan Travis. I mean, that was amazing to be able to stand up and hold up to that, especially after watching him play a little bit. He went down too easily, but here they're going to try to get ahead with a field goal, it looks like.
Matt Zemansky missed one earlier today. This one will be from 47 yards.
He hit a 61-yarder in week 1, so he's got the distance.
SMU calling the timeout.
June Jones icing his own kicker, apparently.
Well, we talked with Rich Ellerson during the week and with Coach Jones. They both talked about how in these bowl games after a long layoff, sometimes those special teams are so important. The blocked extra point for SMU and this potentially game, the field goal here to go ahead with 4:10 to play.
This is a big kick right here versus Mansky.
Let's check in with John down on the field.
Yeah, Beth, June Jones called a timeout, called his kicker over. The wind is blowing big time right to left. I think he wanted to have a conversation and ask him, hey, how sure are you about this? Because on that previous kickoff, the wind is just killing the ball, coming right to left in this end of the stadium. We'll see if he can get it up and power it through.
Thank you, John.
It's almost shifting into his face a little bit, that crosswind.
47 yards. Pulled it. Army up 2 with 4:05 to play.
SMU with only one timeout, so a couple of Army first downs, and they can ice this thing.
(16-14). West Point. Can the triple option run out the clock? Matt Szymanski with a chance to give SMU the lead from 47 yards away. And Rich Ellerson calling it the whole way. Wide left. And Army with the 2-point lead will take over with 4:05 to go. And a triple option attack, Ray Bentley, that has only rushed for 60 yards and 4 first downs this entire second half. They'll have to do better to burn the clock.
SMU defense battling now for their very life in this ball game. Need a stop here to get it back to their offense. Army, I can't imagine they're going to try and throw the football. I see them running, getting it to the edge, and trying to make something happen on the ground. I don't think they want to risk going to the air.
First bowl game in 15 years at West Point. They haven't won a bowl since the 1985 Peach Bowl.
An unbalanced line. First time we've seen that today.
Steelman will keep, maybe out one. Taylor Reed with the tackle. It's going to bring up a third down.
Yeah, here's what you were talking about, Beth, the total yards by halves. And the second half, the Army offense has been relatively shut down as SMU uses their final timeout to try and stop this thing at 3rd and 6 coming up. But give SMU credit on defense. They figured some things out here in the second half.
Well, January 1st marks the official start to the Year of the Quarterback, and it will be toasted with a live show from San Diego to kick off the new year. It all gets started on New Year's Eve at 11 Eastern on ESPN with the Year of the Quarterback countdown, followed by an encore presentation of the Year of the Quarterback kickoff special.
When is the Year of the Linebacker? I want to do that one.
Well, let's see. How many linebackers do they have in the studio? How many quarterbacks do they have in the ESPN studios? I think you're outnumbered.
Is that what it is?
When it comes to programming.
I think me and Spielman could do a couple hours just standing on our head. Good linebacker show.
I think if you showed up, the two of you in the studio, you might be able to just bully them into doing it.
Might be able to talk them into it, right? That would be fun.
3rd down and 5 to keep the ball and the clock running. Steelman rolls across the 40, and he's got it with Hassan leading the way. Got just enough of the defender to give Steelman the room.
Sprung the bootleg on him. They pull both the guard and the tackle on the side. See both those linemen getting out of there? That freezes the defense, and it allows Steelman to get the edge. He was never going to pass that football right there. I know it was a run-pass option. He was tucking that thing away the whole time.
The sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, trying to make the plays. 1st and 10. SMU is out of timeouts. Taylor Reed wraps up Mealy.
You're going to see the Army just take as much time as possible to run time off the clock. But watch Taylor Reed. He's played outstanding throughout the day. Excellent keying and then avoiding the lineman late and then finishing with a power tackle. He kept his feet underneath him, was able to push the ball carrier back. That's how linebackers do it.
You usually can try and hope for some help from the offense, but no turnovers and no penalties still today for Army. Hassan, he runs over a defender across the 45 before he's gang tackled.
Yeah, that was a pretty good power run right there by Hassan. He ran right over Pete Fleps. Fleps is 6'2", 230. And Hassan about 6'3", 220-ish. So the smaller guy won that matchup.
Another 3rd down, 3rd and 4. And Steelman uses their final timeout with 1:18 to go.
That's a good decision. you don't like what you're seeing there on a critical 3rd and 4 here to ice a ball game, you can go ahead and take yourself a timeout. You got one left anyway. Good decision. Another good decision by Steelman. And that's the thing about this Army football team and the mistake-free, disciplined nature, the way Coach Ellerson has them playing. You don't beat yourself, you're going to win a lot of football games.
They've talked about not just getting to this bowl game, but to win it, to have a winning season, and what it would mean to the legacy of this senior class. Coach Ellerson told us how this group has changed how the football team is perceived at West Point. Back to being an integral part of the experience of going to school there.
Right, their slogan is "Bring it back." Trying to bring back the winning ways to West Point.
Steelman has his man inside the 35. David Brooks has got it. Another Army first down.
Oh, that's a gutsy call, and I like the way they bootleg to the right. Much easier for Trent Steelman to throw the football when he rolls to his right. It's the counter boot. They've been showing that counter all day. This is the counter off of the counter, and a perfect throw from Steelman to his crossing receiver David Brooks, and that just about will do it now for Army. All they have to do is take a couple of knees and they're going to win a bowl game.
Just his second completion of the day. And Steelman down to a knee. And there's the Gatorade bath for Rich Ellerson.
I rode down the elevator this morning with Coach Ellerson in the hotel, and he was all smiles, relaxed, excited for the game. He's a really good guy. You get to know him a little bit. I think he's the perfect guy, perfect fit for the football program there at West Point, and he has done an amazing job turning this team around.
After the disappointment and the frustration of the Navy loss at the end of the regular season, West Point bounces back, and they're going to win it. Their first bowl victory in 25 years. 16-14 over SMU as the old Hawaii center gets a win over the former Warrior quarterback and Rich Ellerson and June Jones.
I'm sure they'll discuss this one for years to come, and I bet June Jones wants a rematch, and he'll probably get one at some point.
John's down on the field right now with Coach Ellerson.
Coach, you get the Gatorade bath. What are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm so proud of this senior class. They've changed so much, and for them to get this win and to now to say we've brought winning football back, that's a great moment for Army football. It's a great moment for this senior class. They have earned their place in the pantheon of great Army football teams.
Coach, your father and your two brothers both played at West Point. What's that mean in terms of the family?
It means I better not screw it up.
I don't think he did. Beth?
Not today, John. Not today. As they get the bowl win here at Gerald J. Ford Stadium. Today's Capital One player of the game, Jared Hassan. Over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. 82 of them coming today. As they score all of their 16 points in the first half, and then the big drive when they needed to have it to take care of the last 4 minutes and 5 seconds of the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you, Steven Anderson with 14 tackles and an interception, a close second on that deal, but you had to give it to Jared Hassan. He's the one that makes this offense go from that fullback position. He did a great job throughout the day. Very tough runner in between the tackles.
The triple option beats the run and shoot today in Dallas-Fort Worth, 16-14. The final, West Point a winner in a bowl game for the first time in 25 years. Coming up next on ESPN, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl with Kansas State taking on Syracuse. Make sure to check out continuing coverage of our game on ESPN News and ESPN3.com for today's trophy ceremony. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Ray Bentley and John Berger, I'm Beth Mullins. Now let's go to Wendy Nates back in the studio. The Army cadets over in front of their fans right now. And in just a moment, the trophy presentation here at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. 16-10, Army a winner over SMU. Josh McNary with a fumble return for a touchdown, 55 yards in the first quarter. Malcolm Brown with a 13-yard touchdown run, and Alex Carlton with a 44-yard field goal as they held off the late charge from SMU, scored a couple of touchdowns, one in the third quarter, one in the fourth.
Well, it makes you feel good about Army and their whole season, the way they turned things around. And I had a chance to visit with a lot of those players yesterday in their walkthrough. What a classy group of individuals. Congratulations to them. They certainly earned this one. Get a chance to sing a little bit.
One of the big reasons they're able to take home the trophy, the play of Jared Hassan, their sophomore running back. Over 1,000 yards on the season.
Did a great job of hitting it up, getting the tough yards in between the tackles. You see him, he finishes runs with power. Got the quickness and the initial burst. Outstanding game from Jared Hassan.
They only had 4 first downs the entire second half when they took over deep in their own territory and had to try and run out the last 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And quarterback Trent Steelman had been making nice plays all day, and then his second completion of the day, that's it. The big strike, 22 yards for the first down to move the chains, and that iced it.
He had to run also on the previous third down to move the chains, and that one really is the one that broke the back of the Mustangs. And then finish it off when nobody in the world thought he was going to pass. He was able to hit Brooks on that bootleg crossing route.
Let's join the post-game presentation now in the trophy.
John Garrison, he is the president and CEO of our title sponsor, Bell Helicopter. And at the other end of the table, the executive director of the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, Brant Ringler. Ladies and gentlemen, our MVP awards. We start with the Mustangs of SMU. Please congratulate wide receiver Darius Johnson. And our most valuable player from the United States Military Academy, linebacker Stephen Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Bell Helicopter, Mr. John Garrison.
Thank you, Scott. On behalf of the 36,000 fans, that was one heck of a college football game. SMU, great comeback. To the Black Knights of the Hudson, 14 years! Coach Ellerson, seniors, great job.
Go ahead, Coach. Take a look at the trophy. It is all yours. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the 2010 Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl Trophy, the United States Military Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to you all. Congratulations to SMU and to Army. Have a happy New Year, everybody.
The celebration underway in West Point, 16-14. The final Army a winner over SMU, their first bowl win since the '85 Peach Bowl. Benefiting greatly from the 3 first-half turnovers from SMU.
Yeah, that's really what got things going here. In the first drive, you're going to see Padron drop the football. Josh McNary, Johnny on the spot, picks it up, goes 55 in the other direction to get Army on the board early. And this was a trend throughout the game, as you're going to see this interception by the most outstanding player of the game for Army, Steven Anderson, and then another pick later on by Josh Johnson. And the turnovers are really what set Army ahead in this ball game, and then they were able to hang on to the end and pull out the 2-point victory.
For SMU, they finish up the year at 7-6. They made it to the Conference USA Championship game. They get back to a bowl game for the second year in a row, but it's all Army here this afternoon as they celebrate with the trophy. And Jared Hassett is now standing by with John Berger.
Jared, congratulations on the win. What are you thinking right now?
You know, I just couldn't be any happier. You know, the trip that this team's been on since the beginning to the end, you know, we've had our ups and downs, and we knew payoff was coming, and it came in a big way for us today. It was just huge.
Got off to a fast start, 16-point lead. Defense created 3 turnovers, yet SMU battles back. What were you guys talking about in the huddle on that last couple drives?
You know, we were just thinking we have to go back to putting up points the way that we knew how. You know, we're going to stick to our offense. You know, we're not going to do anything special, and we just had to come out and play hard. And that's what we did. And it was, you know, such a great experience and such an honor to be out here with these guys. It's great.
What's it mean to you to break the Army all-time rushing record?
I don't think I have, sir. Colin Mooney has it. He's got like 1,400. But you know, the fact that I can be a part of this circle with great running backs who've been through West Point, you know, it's just such an honor. It really is.
Talk a little bit about down and distance. Your head coach talked about earlier this week you guys needed to stay on schedule offensively. What was going on up front? It looked like your offensive line was getting a good push.
The offensive line was really tremendous. You know, every bit of success that this offense has experienced has been because of those 5 guys up front. And we're going to lose 4 of them this year, and we're so happy we could send them out with a big W.
Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thank you so much, sir.
That.
Thank you very much, John. Jared Hassett going over the 1,000-yard mark today at 18 rushes, 82 yards. And the turnaround continues, the return to excellence at Army as they get the bowl win, their first since '85. And they beat SMU 16-15 at the Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl.